This is the first of a new informative series dealing mainly with the development of full-plate armor. It is important to note that there are very little written accounts by armorers and virtually no explanation as to how armor is made. The transition between chainmail and full-plate armor spanned approximately 300 years of development. Chainmail was widespread in use because it was relatively easier to make than plate armor, and it became the main armor protection for hundreds of years. The development of large plates of steel for armor protection was rare and expensive because smelting and refining steel was still in its infancy. The suit of armor we are going to reproduce for this video is typical of the 16th century in design and function.
Hi, welcome to Valentine Armouries. I'm Rob Valentine. I've been making armor for over 15 years. I've been studying early Greek and Roman armor all the way through to the Renaissance, including the transition between chainmail to full-plate armor.
To try the latest ideas in maneuverability and function, and thirdly, it reflected and emulated the latest fashions. For example, this 16th century style of armor has rounded sabatons, the steel shoes, whereas 100 years earlier the fashion of the time were pointed shoes, and the armor of the previous century had very pointed sabatons to reflect the shoe style. The old metalworkers had to pound the steel from ingots to a desired thickness, and thankfully for the armorers, this was usually another occupation. These platers could make the steel to order, according to specifications. Then they were cut by large shears down to size, with a machine very similar to our modern shears. It is common for people to compare or equate armoring to blacksmithing. There are a few similarities. One of them is the use of a forge to heat metal, and to work with metal while it is hot. Heat is indeed used for extreme stretching and shaping, but the majority of the work is actually done cold. For blacksmiths, the work is almost always done hot, and this is the difference between the two trades. In order to reach high temperatures to work with steel, air must be forced into the coals. The bellows was an ingenious device used for hundreds of years by many forges. Sucking air in from the bottom, it forces air through a small nozzle at the front directly into the bed of coals. Either the platers or the armorer himself would make a custom plate of steel for the breastplate or helmet, where it was thicker in the center, from about 14 gauge to perhaps 18 gauge at the edges.
When I first became interested in armor, I was looking everywhere to try to find a book on how armor was made. I couldn't find it anywhere. Like most budding armorers, I was expecting to find lots of books and perhaps one historic tell-all book on the subject, but if there was one, it seemed to be long lost. I did, however, find pictures of armor collections in many museums, but none had details about actually how these pieces were made. So I began to just work with sheet metal, all types and grades, and experimented with stretching techniques. It was simply a trial and error process. For my first designs were very simple helmets like the Norman style, graduating to more complicated pieces. In reality, very little is known about armor making, and from what I've read, I believe it is for several reasons. Among them is the importance of maintaining high quality to stay ahead of their competitors, but also maintaining military secrets. Current armor from any period was in their time cutting-edge technology, and this includes new grades of steel for weapons and their tempering techniques. Combine this with the competitive nature of business and a lifelong dedication needed to learn this trade, and you find the knowledge was passed down first-hand from master to apprentice. Armorers were also most often a family business, with father and son working together, and there was no need to write these methods in a book.